Good morning.
Good morning.
I was like, I started like this, and I was like, I'm just gonna leave my hand here because it looks so dumb. I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna. Hey everybody,
even
it looks
thought,
cheesy. It looks cheesy. It doesn't look dumb. It just looks. Cheesy.
You just have to go like this on your beard.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's
I'm Ben
Tuesday.
Barber. Lori Jatari. Lori, how has your week been?
Oh dear. Very compartmentalized. Like I think I'm down in Florida taking care of family members and working. And so in this case, Zoom has been fantastic. I look forward to getting back and enjoying spring. I can see the sun shining behind you. And actually in Florida today, it's quite cloudy and rainy.
Oh no.
So yeah,
Oh,
it's some storms coming through, but yeah, it's okay.
The sun is shining so bright here that I had to turn around because I couldn't see you from my normal positioning. So
oh man.
But I love it. Yeah, I got up this morning and answered emails walking around my yard. Just literally doing laps around the backyard here. Listening to music and answering emails, which
that's like the ultimate multitasking morning routine. You're walking, music, answering emails, and exercising all at the same time.
I mean, listen, I wish that I could say that I do that all the time. That was the first time that that's ever happened, and hopefully,
that's kind of cool.
Knock on wood. Hopefully, I usually don't have wood that close to me. And hopefully that will be a new normal situation. So
that's cool.
We are we have a jam-packed show today.
Yeah.
And we are currently waiting on our guests to arrive. And we have two wonderful guests today, and we'll get to them in a few minutes.
Nice.
When they arrive, we have our normal business over breakfast guest, and then we have Caswell Cook, the executive director of the Misquamicut Business Association, and someone who is working closely now with Governor McKee to help get the small business grants out.
Fantastic.
And so Caswell is going to come on and give everybody a little bit of information about how to get those grants. So, and then we'll clip that and we'll put that out as well for everybody, just as as we do.
Yeah, that's great.
Can you talk a little bit about the videos that you and Scott have been making of the clip show version of the show that you can find on Instagram and LinkedIn?
Yeah,
so a little bit about that.
Okay, so what we've been doing is, we know that sometimes our audience likes to see the whole show and kind of understand what people are thinking about and talking about. And I'm just going to give us a little plug because next week is our Q&A show. So we want to make sure that if people are thinking about things as we think businesses begin to reopen, bring us your questions. But we also know that a lot of people are looking very quickly they just want the top 5 things to know or the top 3 things to know. So we're taking our Business Over Breakfast show and we're creating small clips as well as doing short business profiles. So we're going to start on our Shop Local work. We'll start like a little blog page. So the businesses get a profile, but we also pick out the top, the key points that the businesses bring, because part of what we do is hopefully businesses are learning from other businesses and realizing that if there's a business guest on and they say, oh, I tried this and it worked, then we say, oh, hey, call Jane or Jim and see what they're up to and make connections so that businesses can learn. And I say it over and over again, the rising tide, Rhode Island, Florida, maybe rising tide lifts all boats. And this is the whole premise around this kind of sharing of business information. I mean, it's we're all in it together and we all have different skills and we all run different businesses. So I think that there are some things that we can really learn from each other.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think that that's the biggest, if if you're, I think that we should all be listening to other people, because and contextualizing things to ourselves, right? So so like the if there's we had the fish guy on a couple weeks ago, and you probably don't own an aquarium business, probably. Like I'm just going out on a limb and saying that I think
Yeah.
that the majority of the people watching this, and that will watch clips of this, probably do not own a business of installing multi-million-dollar aquariums into hospitals and hotels, um, and homes. But
But you probably want one. Right?
yes, or there's a technique that he talked about, or there's a way that they adapted to COVID that they talked about, or the escape rooms that we had on was a great version of something where they were an escape room is a very personal, in person, um, intimate experience of you going with your family and friends to an escape room. And like that's the draw of that business, right? When you're thinking about the why of the business, and the what and the how, you build an escape room, you market it locally, you get people that are local to come in with their friends and family, and you do that. When the pandemic hit and they couldn't do it anymore
Right.
for a little while, they opened up. They found ways to do it virtually, and now, if you go back and listen to that episode, they have people from Europe and all over the world who are
Right.
visiting their escape rooms virtually. And now, while they're limiting the virtual escape rooms to a couple days a week because they have to, work on their main core business, which is that in person, they
Yeah.
now have business from all over the world that they never would have had.
Right.
And
Right.
that's the and if you can, you don't own an escape room, I guarantee that not more than one other person watching
Wait,
this
did you
video
say I
owns an
don't own an
escape room.
escape room? Are you sure about that?
I don't think you do. I mean, you might. I haven't seen Scott in a while. He might be stuck in there. But um but that ingenuity
Right.
is something
Right.
that you can take with you for
Right.
your business, for your jam business, for your whatever it may be.
Absolutely. And the other thing that they did now, thinking about spring, is they started almost like escape room treasure hunt type things, where they give you the backpack and you do the whole thing outside, and you
Exactly.
try to solve the mystery. So you go, you pick up, you get your code, you pick up your backpack, and then you kind of like it reminds me of that like Around the World show, where the couples like have to go from one place to another, and then solve the mystery or whatever. I don't know what that's called.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and those are two things that they probably wouldn't have done before, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, and so here he is expanding his market both locally and internationally, which is really, yeah, we've seen some really neat things. And then to understand, like, how did they make that happen? And
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. And if I mean, there are so many different ways to do that. I was recently listening to an interview with the CEO of a company that they do a lot of retail,
Hmm.
and the majority of their business is in retail, and they had a good infrastructure for online before the pandemic, but that's not
Hmm.
where the overwhelming majority of their sales came from. And their goal for 2020 was to double their sales, and they had a very aggressive strategy for how to do that in retail, in big box stores. And
Hmm.
when Costco and everything closed, um, all of the people that bought their products in stores were easily able to find them online, on Amazon, on their own website, wherever it may be.
Hmm.
And they didn't lose virtually any sales
Wow.
when that shift happened. And then when Costco and Walmart and all of those places opened back up again, fully,
Hmm.
and or the consumer confidence was high enough that people started going back into the stores all the time, their business picked right back up to where it was in person. but it never dropped off online.
Wow.
So they got both,
Right.
and they doubled their double projection. They
Yeah.
quadrupled their profits in 2020, 2021 because of
Wow.
because of
Yeah.
because of having a good online, because of what they had an online infrastructure, which is what Shop Local Rhode Island is all about, right?
Right.
Getting these local businesses that don't necessarily have never had to. Like if you are a local mom
Right.
and pop shop in Rhode Island, why have you ever thought about going on the
Right.
internet? If you're a small
Right.
business in Cranston, you never
Yeah.
had to. You had foot traffic, you had a name, you had people that have come for 30 years to your store, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah, and now the store is closed, or it was closed, and I think that was the purpose of the whole Shop Local Rhode Island, was so that people could contact the stores directly or see what was going on inside the store. And now in 2 months, every one of those members on Shop Local Rhode Island, 2,000 plus businesses, will be able to put products on their page and sell them. And so, I mean, and for free, for free. So if
yeah,
you have a business, and we're going to say that if you have 5 products or less, like for us, we do social media, or I do business coaching. So if I say I just want to put out, certificates for business coaching, I can put that out on Shop Local Rhode Island for free. And so if you have like top 5 products that you sell, you're going to be able to maintain your listing and be doing e-commerce on the marketplace. It's been, holy moly, it's been quite an undertaking. But you know what? It's going to be so much fun, and it's going to be so cool. For the state,
absolutely,
it's going to be amazing.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Um, so have you explored at all the NFT space that's exploding right now?
Tell me more.
Okay, do you know what an NFT is? Because
I'm
if you
thinking it's some kind of fund.
know, uh, so anyway, it's called a non-fungible token, right? And anybody that's watching this, go research this. Okay, if you're on Clubhouse, you can go on any Clubhouse room, give it 10 minutes, it will become an NFT room. You
Wait,
can
it's a non-funded.
non-fungible token. So what
Oh,
fungible means
okay.
is that it can be, there's more than one of them. It's a commodity, right?
Okay.
So
All right.
think of this like collectibles, like trading cards, Pokemon cards, baseball cards, art, high art, paintings, stuff like that. This uses the blockchain
Oh, yes.
so this uses blockchain to basically what it is it's an opportunity for digital artists to create a non-fungible token, right? To mint their token. So say that you made a piece of art, right? Say Scott, who's a photographer, took a beautiful photograph. He then minted that as a non-fungible token. He can then sell that, and someone with an NFT wallet can buy it, and Scott gets the money. And if he writes the NFT contract a certain way, anytime someone else sells that original print, now Scott can still use that print. People can replicate it. You can do it with GIFs, digital art, tweets, audio files, songs, anything digital. You can then sell. So it's creating a full um, marketplace, a gigantic marketplace for art,
Wow.
for creators, for all of that. And in within the next couple of years, it's going to create a big opportunity for businesses
Yeah.
to do things like that, like the business certificates that you were just talking about.
Yep.
Taking a certificate, say your book, right? Say you sold your book and you made your book an NFT. Yes, Learn to Leap. There it is. Check it out. Say you took your book and you made your book an NFT, right?
Hmm.
And you made 20 NFTs. These are the original. It would be like buying an original Harry Potter. Now, say you blow up, as you're going to, massively. The value of those books, those original books, those original
Yeah.
files, copies,
Yeah.
are gonna go through the roof, like a trading card, like a collectible, like a piece of art, right? So you could then get a piece of that every time somebody else buys it. So
That's
that they own,
incredible.
and you keep it and people can see your public wallet.
And
And
how
then
do you, okay, yeah. I feel
number
like we
two,
need
for
to do an
businesses,
entire show on this.
we need to get an NFT expert on here, and I
Yes.
know some, so let's make that
Shout out.
happen.
Yes, please.
But for right now, we have an expert on, and I'm going to go full screen so I can introduce him and change our background. Right now, we have an expert on these new business grants. He is the executive director of the Mesquamacut Business Association. He's a member of the Westerly Town Council, and he now works with the governor for special projects, including right now helping people find out more about these grants. Ladies and gentlemen, Caswell Cook.
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, good morning, Caswell.
Good morning, guys.
How are you?
Have you guys
Doing
ever
well.
met each other, Lori and Caswell?
No.
Just through your circle, Ben.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, nice to meet you
We
both.
see each other online.
That's true. That's
Congratulations,
true.
you both just met a cool person. I promised I would do that anytime I introduced anybody, so I have
That's
to.
good.
From Ted Lasso. So Caswell, tell us a little bit about the business grants.
Well, so the governor announced it last week, and it opened last Thursday at 3:00. So if you go to commerceri.com, it's the first thing that pops up right above PPP. It's the Small Business Grant Relief Program. So it's really simple. And now it's funny because I said to the governor, I said, boy, sometimes it's hard to give away free money.
Yeah.
Now in this case, it's going
We've been
fast.
down this road before.
Well, so many things have strings attached, and this one doesn't. So when the governor released this money, it's $20 million, and it's money that came from the CARES Act, and it was, I guess, squirreled away, wherever it was. It wasn't released until last week, and this $20 million amount is in the form of $5,000 grants to small businesses. So there's only a couple of requirements. One is you have to make $1 million or less. So it truly is a small business that can apply for that. And when you go online, they Commerce purposely made the form simple. So you don't have to do, I know some people applied for Restore RI. Some people have applied for PPP. Some of it at the beginning was a little confusing. You were uploading like Schedule C's and like having to like track down your accountant. You don't need any of that.
Yep.
You don't need any of that for this. It's a simple formula. It's basically, year over year. And if you show a need for at least $5,000, you're eligible. The thing is, the most recent number they published when this opened on Thursday was a couple days later. They had already gotten 11 million in applications out of the 20.
Wonderful.
So I can only assume by today that number is up there. So the program's open until April 30th or until the 20 million is spoken for.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, Ben.
No, go ahead.
I'll tell you. So every week for the shoplocalrhodeisland.com site, we send out a newsletter with updates, and the newsletter has about 2,400 Rhode Island businesses on there. And so we did put that brief update in there, and with the links to Commerce RI and the information. And so hopefully that has helped to push the word out, which we do every week. So yeah, if you have more information, please feel free to come on and share, because this is what we do.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a use it or lose it type of situation. And I know people, that sometimes there's a hesitancy. Oh, well, maybe I don't meet those requirements. I'll do it tomorrow. There's always and I'm just here to tell you that if you do it tomorrow, it could be too late to receive basically, free money. I mean, this is money that the federal government appropriated to Rhode Island. The governor turned around and is appropriating it to small businesses, but you have to take advantage of it. And then the other thing that Commerce wants to remind people about is the PPP is still available, payroll protection, until May 31st or until it runs out. And that's another thing. And they don't have the numbers. So with this small business grant, they can track in real time how much money is being applied for. with the PPP, you got to wait for an update from the federal government. So again,
right.
and those loans will most likely be forgiven as long as as long as you use it for payroll or things like that.
So tell us a little bit about the audience. So, our audience is are small businesses, we hope. And so I was speaking with a business last week and I said, you have to put this information in, go and apply. And the response was, oh, I don't know. It seems like it's going to be like another big deal. So can you talk a little bit about just the process of like, what do you need to gather before you get on your computer and apply?
If you have QuickBooks or however you keep your ledgers, you just need to plug in a number from 2019 over 2020. So you don't need the tax return. You don't need the proof of it in front of you as long as you have the numbers. Now, in 5% of the cases, they are going to ask for more information. Just because there has to be some kind of control on this, but it's a 5% situation. So 1 out of 20 people are going to get asked for a little bit more information. I don't know if you can pull up Commerce RI's website on the screen, and we could just we could look at it real quick because it's the first thing that pops up on Commerce's website. So we can walk you through what that looks like right now, and then nobody will have any excuse not to apply.
I think that's great. Today. Yeah. I think that's so super important. Okay, so we're on the front page. We're on the home page.
All right, see the top left, Small Business Relief Grant
top
Program.
Left, right under the logo.
And of course, I'm not wearing my glasses, so it's harder for me to see. But anyway, if you scroll down there, that gives you the criteria, who is eligible. So it's like right there. But click on Apply Now.
Sorry, a large cat just walked by me.
Not a bobcat, right?
No,
not a bobcat.
Just a large one.
1 second. It opened up in a new screen. That's the only thing that I hate is when things open.
Oh yeah.
That's all right. It's business over breakfast. I'm drinking a Coke. I have to jump.
I was going to say, what is that?
I don't usually do that, but
it's either Coca-Cola or coffee.
Right. So you see this here. If you just scroll down. It's very simple information, the business name, the business legal name, your social security number. Let me see if I can, there we go. I can make my screen better. Yeah, keep going.
Tell me about when you say your social security number. So if you're a business and you're applying for it, it's just one of the owner's social security numbers?
Right. There's that. And then lower down in the form, it will ask you for if you have an EIN or a TIN.
Okay.
So right there. So right on the right here, SSN, TIN, EIN, number of employees, primary industry. And then if you keep going down a little bit more, so you just answer some of these questions. Then here's the need calculation right here. Don't go. Yeah, there we go. All right. Sorry, I pinched my screen to make it bigger. So you put your 2019 gross receipts, your 2020 gross receipts, and then the COVID-related financial assistance, and then net need, and that's it. That literally is it right there.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, look, Ben's plugging in numbers,
and it's working. COVID-related. Oh, okay. So that's other financial assistance that the businesses have received.
Right, and I think that's been updated. Where they don't, if you got, and I don't want to misspeak, so I better not misspeak, but I believe that they waived some of that. So if you got other COVID money, that you don't have to count that against it. But obviously the form still says it. So, so that's basically it as far as, sorry, there's my fingers as I adjust my iPhone. I totally forgot to put on my glasses. And I'm looking at it. I don't want to have to look like this with my eye. But you see how simple it is, Lori and Ben.
Yeah, no, I think it's super important because, this is great. That's a friend of mine. So we have another guest coming on too. So that does quilting. I think it's really important, and every little bit helps. And Ben and I were just talking about how businesses that have gone online and are selling online can now try to even maintain that new stream of revenue for themselves as they move into their business. So that extra buffer, or a little, cushion of $5,000, I think can really support a business's conceptual, or, one, it could just support their costs. But if you're thinking like, how do I maintain the revenue that I've been able to generate and open my business up again, that 5,000, I think, gives a lot of kind of more than food for thought, but a little bit of a cushion to allow businesses to think about how they want to maneuver forward.
Right. So with something like PPP, which I applied for through my restaurant at the beach that's open in the summer, and they give you specific guidelines. Okay, a certain percent can be used for rent, a certain percent can be used for payroll, and you have to follow that in order to get the loan forgiven. With this grant program, it's $5,000, it's yours.
Right.
And when I was with the governor the day that it was announced, and we were talking about it with Secretary Pryor and some other folks that the governor pulled into this project, and he's like, this could be, for a small business, this could be 3 months or 4 months of electric bills. This could be
Right.
A month or 2 months of rent that could just get them over that hump until
Right.
the mask mandate's gone, or whatever the I mean,
Right.
I know that there's like, I bring up like the martial arts thing because our friend Kiefer here in Westerly has been saying, geez, I've got people standing 15 feet apart, but they still have to wear a mask. Like, what's up? But people aren't coming because of this and whatnot. And so he's got to wait until that next phase of how many people are vaccinated before his, before that's lifted from his business. So this 5,000, that could be very helpful to a business like his. Hey,
absolutely.
boy, this is the rent for the next couple of months until I can have more people in a class or something.
Yeah.
I think, I think in Rhode Island, where the thing for businesses that I've experienced in the last year plus is there are a lot of people supporting and trying to support businesses in Rhode Island, people in government and like out of government, us and the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition. And there have been so many discussions about how do we cover this funding? Like, do we stick to, the fixed operating like rent? Do we do something different? So I guess for the audience and what you're trying to do as well, Caswell, is to let the businesses know, like, here's another thing, and we're going to look at the masks, and we've never been through this before either. So we don't have all the answers, but we can at least keep communicating everything that we're working on. And as more people get vaccinated, the mask thing is going to shift a little bit, but we don't know how.
And I think there's also more money coming. I think there was, if I remember the press conference last week correctly, the governor said there was $30 million that his administration identified that's supposed to get out into the hands of small businesses, and this is 20 million of that. Now that leaves another several million. I know Secretary Pryor said a small amount was spoken for, but I think he's got another plan that he said he was going to announce in the coming weeks. That might be to help businesses with some physical improvements to what they've had to change because of COVID. I mean, I was talking to Rebecca Green, who owns Cold Stone in Westerly, and she had to like reconfigure the way people come in and out of her place, and that's an expense, and also it defeats the purpose because people come to Cold Stone to watch them make the ice cream on the Cold Stone,
right?
And now they can't watch it.
We need to put her on the list. Because one of the things that we were talking about all the different businesses we've been able to work with over the last year, and one of the cool things that you just said about Cold Stone is this idea of reconfiguring internally. Like, we've talked a lot about the fitness centers, and just measuring spacing. But when someone comes into a coffee shop or an ice cream shop, and one of the things in our video that Dan McKee, our now governor, says is it's not just an ice cream shop, it's not just a coffee shop, but that whole idea of like, how does that business like operate from a process perspective and keeping people safe. Like that's really a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and in some cases it's money. You know,
right.
I mean, I know they were offering at one point, you know, you could get some free plexiglass or something, but let's face it, the majority of the business owners went out and bought all that stuff themselves. These bar owners, whatever, they put up the plexiglass, and they were told for months they couldn't use it, you know, and now you can again. But so it's there's definitely those expenses. I mean, it's real.
Yeah, thank you.
So one thing that I just want to say, from as an outsider watching this, a semi-outsider watching this,
I would never say you're an outsider.
I don't think you're an outsider.
Well, so I've had a nice vantage point for all of this, being a producer for the governor, and when he was lieutenant governor, and being there with Lori on those early I was on some of those early calls for the Rhode Island Small Business Coalition, and these are the things that were being fought for a year ago in those first phone calls are the things that are happening now. And the streamlined process for this grant application is one of those, right?
Yeah.
So that's really nice to see. All of the work that Governor McKee, Lori, Chris, Justin, Jennifer, that everybody talked about on those phone calls, on the small business town halls, which will be back soon. I can't make an announcement, but the small business town halls will be back very soon. The Lieutenant Governor small business town halls will be back very soon. I just want to clarify that. And you know, to see like the complaints of like, hey, this is really hard and taxing for these business owners to get this money, and then to go through that application and to see how simple it was, and to be on that coalition text chain, on that business group text chain that Lori and I are a part of, and seeing the business owners saying, hey, I got it, no problem, and you know, within like 2 days it was like, hey, 3,000 people applied, you know.
Yeah.
So that's amazing, and those 3,000 businesses in Rhode Island really needed that help. So thank you, Caswell.
Thank you so much.
I'm just the messenger. I was gonna say apply early and often, but you can't, that's voting.
Yeah, but the message is apply, because it's not gonna, I mean, you have nothing to lose.
No, you have nothing to lose by applying. You just go on, and there it is, commerceri.com, and you just apply. And what's the worst that can happen? You don't get it. But in most cases, you're going to get it if you make $1 million or less. And I mean, Ben's probably not eligible because he's probably made multi-millions, but
yeah, Ben and I are rolling in the dough.
And by the way, you mentioned Chris, and he was one of the ones responsible for making it simple. In fact, there was some other wording in it just a week ago, and I was standing there in Providence, and he was like, "No, this is too confusing. Take this out."
Yeah,
and they did. They were very receptive at Commerce.
Very
the
important.
governor was very receptive to the input of the business community, and you know, I think the governor joked, "You don't have to have a DUN number and all this." You know,
right?
It made it simple, and it's very nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if it is a little confusing, because it still can be, I mean, you know, things can still be, call Commerce at 521-HELP, and they will help you. They will walk you through it. You can apply on the phone. Somebody will walk you through it. Call 521-HELP. If you can't, commerceri.com is the best option. It's the simplest option. You don't have to wait for anybody to answer. You don't have to worry about the call volume or anything like that. You can just go on commerceri.com. But if you do have a question, call 521-HELP. Thank you very much, Caswell.
Thank you.
Thank you, Caswell. Hey, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to. I was going to say nice to meet you, but nice to video meet you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming on.
Drive-in this summer. See you later.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, we have a second guest today. And I'm very excited about that. Lori, can you introduce Claudia?
Yeah, so we're going to shift a little bit. And so Claudia,
Jam-packed show.
Huh? Jam-packed.
It's a jam-packed show.
If anybody wants to join the show after Claudia, just tell Ben. We'll just sit here all day.
Don't do that. Don't do that. I have another show to get to.
Business over breakfast marathon.
Business over lunch. Let's go.
All right, here we go. So Claudia, welcome. Claudia Middendorf is the owner of Matilda Home, and she makes stunning designed quilts, handmade quilts with some very fine textiles. And this startup is such a beautiful high-end business and product, and from a designer perspective. So I'd love for Claudia to come on and hey there.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Ben, good to meet you too.
Hey, Ben, this is good. So you introduced me to Caswell. See, we're networking right here on video. So
And
Claudia,
you guys, that was great having him on. Those are such important topics to share with the business community.
yeah.
Really great to see that Commerce Rhode Island has all these, channels for businesses to reach out and ask for help. Really simple.
I know.
I hope it goes really well and easy for businesses when they're applying.
It seems to be doing exactly that. And and shout out to Secretary Pryor at Commerce for all the work that they've been doing with Governor McKee, with the Small Business Coalition, with Shop Local Rhode Island, because Commerce is, I believe, partner or sponsor of ShopLocalRhodeIsland.com, Lori.
Yeah.
So, shout out to Secretary Pryor and Commerce for all of the amazing work that they're doing helping. But Claudia, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about you.
Yeah, let's talk about you. All right. Well, here's a first very important question. I'm going to use it as the Commerce to Claudia question.
Yes.
Have you applied?
I have applied. I applied yesterday. Yes.
Yay. All right. That's good.
It was easier than I thought. It was easier than I thought. I thought that there was I was going to have to dig up tax information and, start doing math, which for creatives, I just break out in a cold sweat when I have to do, calculators and taxes and forms and stuff like that. It was really easy. So.
Well, I also would like to say that Claudia is the designer of the new ShopLocalRhodeIsland.com logo.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So Claudia is a graphic designer by trade. And so I will, I'm going to hand it over to you, Claudia, just to kind of talk about how how you're shifting your business senses.
Yeah, thanks, Lori. I am trained as a graphic designer. I came to the Rhode Island School of Design back in 2003 from the San Francisco Bay Area, and graduated with an MFA in graphic design. And I love graphic design. I love all design, but the graphic design, I felt like there was something that I still needed to kind of do to round out my education from RISD. So I started exploring different avenues of what I could do to really, create something new, and textiles was it. It really kind of struck a chord with me because I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, and as many know, the coldest summers are full of fog and wind many days. So I kind of wrapped myself in my grandmother's Afghans that she crocheted when I was growing up, and I wanted to do something a little bit different. And the American quilts have always struck me as really beautiful, but I wanted to kind of take it a step further. And so I just started experimenting and, sewing some, different prototypes, and really stumbled upon using linen as a source of, the fabric in these quilts. It's really sustainable. It uses the whole plant, and it's breathable. And it feels great. The more you wash it, the softer it feels. So I started experimenting, and I haven't stopped since. So it's just a wonderful experience. You know, I've gone to some craft shows in New York and in San Francisco. So that has been a really fun journey to develop that.
And how would you say people have been receiving it, Claudia?
Really great. You know, they're really enamored with the whole idea of a linen quilt rather than something that's made out of cotton. And as you know, linen is very textural. So some of the texture on some of the quilts are really unique. You know, it's like a modern twist on the traditional quilt. They're intricately detailed and they're very cozy. So they're great layering pieces throughout each season. You can use them in springtime, in the fall. In the winter, I layer them up with down comforters. So, you know, that's really the conversation I have with my customers. And the other thing is they love to see how they can have something custom made for them. So, you know, this is my stack of, you know, custom swatches from different people that I've worked with in the last couple of years. So, you know, this one is the most recent one. It's one of the new colors that I've done. So, you know, everybody gets a little bit of a card with their name on it. And then,
beautiful.
You know, I put the dimensions on the back, you know, what kind of stitch they want, you know, if they want, on this particular customer, we went with a soft yellow personalized swatch on them. And yeah, I mean, we make all kinds of sizes, kings, queens. I just did a couple of custom twin matching
beautiful
quilts for a interior designer in Martha's Vineyard. Yeah.
So how did you, Ben just put up your beautiful write-up in Stewart Living.
That was so great. Too. Yeah.
Ben, your sound is really low.
Sorry?
Ben's sound is really low.
My sound is low?
Yeah, we can't really hear you that well.
Interesting. Okay.
But so you put it up, and then what did you say, Ben?
Can you hear me now better?
Yeah.
Yes, that's better.
Okay, that's weird. Was it low the whole show?
No.
Okay.
It went really low. But so Claudia, we're looking at Martha Stewart Living, this gorgeous photo and beautiful write-up. So tell us how this national attention came about.
Well, I have been, you know, since COVID, I've been participating in some online marketplaces, and one of them is called Field and Supply. They're based out of New York. And I think they found me through the Field and Supply website, and they reached out to me back in September and asked to see what assortment I had in my studio that I could send to them in New York in their studios. So, you know, after that, I sent my quilts out there, and then a couple months ago, they reached out to me with their writer, and we had a little 1-hour interview, and the rest is history. Yeah,
that's so good. That's so good. How has the feedback been with that?
It's been really positive, really great. I've noticed a big upsurge in visits to my website. So it's really been a really great tool, you know, to get my name out there. You know, I'm a girl business. I started just a few years ago. So it's really great to get that press and just more interest and, you know, seeing if.
Right. And your website is so beautiful.
Thank you.
Can we bring up the website? I mean, it really is.
I'm trying to get that now.
How do you spell it? It's
MATH. Yeah, so it's matildahome.com.
Yeah. So you can take a look at some of the beautiful heirloom quilts. Yeah, one of the things we've been talking to a lot of businesses over the last year about how they have shifted. And so it's interesting that you say one of the things you did was you went to an online market. And so had that been something you were doing before, or is this something that you have started and will continue in your business?
I missed the earlier part. What was your question? How has this shifted?
Right. We've talked to businesses about how they're shifting during the pandemic, and you mentioned Field and Supply. So I'm just wondering, were you doing online markets before the pandemic, or has this grown over the last year?
Right when COVID hit, I had already planned for the 2020 season for any kind of in-person fairs. So I was going to be going to one called Renegade Craft Fair in San Francisco that I'd been attending for a couple of years now. And Field and Supply was that one that I just got into, that I'd really been looking forward to for a long time. My sister was going to fly out from San Francisco, and we were going to, make a whole weekend of it. And it, quite frankly, shifted overnight. I mean, people were, Field and Supply, the people there are great to work for. Brad Ford, Chad Rawlings, Aaron, they all put together the website in, a matter of weeks.
Wow.
So they really pivoted quite fast. I participated in another one. It was a wholesale website, online marketplace called Shop Object, and they're based out of New York City.
Nice.
And they pivoted quite quickly with everything online. It wasn't as seamless as others, but in time, I think they worked out all the bugs. So that's what businesses were doing. They were really working out the bugs of this online marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, me too.
It's really interesting because in the shop local, you could for free put up 5 beautiful quilts for sale. You sell one, put another one up. So I feel like this is so timely and so important.
I think it's one of the high points in terms of, I think COVID was really, struck everybody really hard. But one of the high points is I think Rhode Island really came together as a business community, and they really kind of embraced each other in ways that I think are really kind of, expanding more and more each day. I think people are reaching out to each other, and they're understanding that Rhode Island is one of the smallest states, but we have so much talent here. And it's untapped talent,
it's incredible. I am blown away. I kid Ben because every time we do an interview, he says, that was awesome. And it's like, you just can't believe the stuff that we do here in this little state. We do everything. And that's what we'll continue to do.
And I think Rhode Island School of Design is an asset there. I mean, I think that's really an untapped source.
And we want to keep that talent here in Rhode Island, make them successful in the state.
Yeah, exactly. Reach out to these other businesses that need, especially, coming from a graphic design perspective, it's so important to have the branding really on point, and, I've participated in small business webinars,
right,
and in person prior to COVID. And, the emphasis was really put on make your branding number one. And some businesses just don't put that at the forefront. And I think it could really hurt them. So that's why I'm a really big proponent of, having a really strong brand. Yeah.
Well, we're finalizing our Visual Thrive logo with you now. So that's really fun too.
Oh, it's so fun. I love doing the branding part.
We love it too.
Really one of my favorites. Yeah.
Claudia, I have one question for you before the lightning round. And I unfortunately have to go because I have to produce another show in a couple couple seconds. As an artist, as a graphic designer and an artist, are you aware of NFTs?
NFTs? No, I don't know what that is.
All right, Claudia, look up NFTs.
You're going to have to come and watch.
You're going to make thousands and thousands and thousands, maybe millions of dollars off of NFTs in the next 5 years. I guarantee it.
Okay.
All right.
right.
That's my question, Claudia. Please, you're amazing, and I'm
Thank
so
you,
sorry. I'm still
Ben.
going to be backstage, but I have other people, unfortunately, now waiting on my phone. So
you know what? We have had a jam-packed show, and let's just say thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough, and we'll continue to do what we're doing, and we really want to maintain and grow our Shop Local Rhode Island Small Business Network. I can't thank you enough for coming on and just sharing the work that you do.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited for Rhode Island.
Thank you, Claudia.
Claudia, I'm gonna check out your site and then also your graphic design stuff, because I love the new Shop Local logo, and I'm always looking for new logos for things. Come back. So we're gonna have a conversation about NFTs at another point. I want you to look it up. As a graphic designer and a RISD graduate, I want you to look up NFTs, and then I want you to come back for that conversation.
We don't usually give our guests homework, but now we're doing homework.
All right.
I love homework.
Okay.
Thank you, Claudia.
Have a great day, everybody.
Have a great day, Lori. I will talk to you soon. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.